Zach, San Antonio Spurs tied up the series at three apiece. We got a game seven in our hands tomorrow night. We're going to talk about it on From the Nosebleeds. Zach, you were in attendance last night in San Antonio. I can see you teasing already. Give me through your emotions right now, what you're feeling for game seven. I know you already went on a 30 plus minute rant last time we had an episode, which is, hey, that's cool. I'll give you 20 minutes this time. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts on everything.
I don't even know if I'll last. I don't know if I'll make it to 20 minutes just with how the state of my voice. So I apologize if there are any voice cracks in there anywhere. But man, it's a surreal feeling. It's a surreal season. I posted last night in my story. I was like, I can't be mad at this team no matter how the season ends. They fought. They defended home court with a valiant effort. They didn't go out sorry like I was worried they would. They didn't lose on home court. Didn't let the Thunder celebrate on our home court, which at the end of the day, I feel like that's all I could ask. They have now taken one of the greatest teams ever, an all-time great team, defending champs with the back-to-back MVP on their leading their roster. We've taken them to 7 games, and I feel like that is all you can ask. They've exceeded my expectations. I picked the Thunder to win this series in 6 games, so they've exceeded my expectations. I feel like they've exceeded everybody's situation. So anything after this is kind of just extra. It's like extra credit. And no matter how Saturday goes, I will be immensely proud of this team. I'll be immensely proud to be a Spurs fan. It's been a great time to be a fan. I was in San Antonio all day yesterday. You could see it everywhere. People were just smiling, cheering. I mean, "Go Spurs Go" is basically it's like a welcome. It's as common as saying hi or what's up. It's a greeting. It's just something that brings the community together. And I think right now, with the Spurs winning, there's no better place to be. There's no better time to be a Spurs fan. And I'm so proud of this team. I'm so happy to be a Spurs fan. I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, this team is awesome, and no matter how Saturday goes, I will stand proud of them. But getting into last night's game, just right from the rip, I talked about it. That was kind of the biggest point of my rant last episode, was the fact that Victor Wembanyama was sorry in Game 5, and you know what? He proved me wrong. He went out there. He started attacking the game like a number one option. He went out like a number one option. Like, didn't go out, but he went out in a elimination game how a number one option should, and that is shooting the hell out of the basketball. And obviously, he didn't get his interior scoring game going much last night. It was far from Game 1, but the outside shot, he got out there and he drilled like 2 straight threes. I believe he had a turnaround fade over Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, he got his game going with his jump shot, and from there on, it just felt like that gave the rest of the team energy. And of course, it was a bit of a magnet ball game at first. Devin Vassell got hot. He hit 4 threes last night. Harper hit a couple. Champagnie hit a couple. Even Harrison Barnes and clutch came in, hit a few threes. I think Wemby finished with 4 threes, 3 or 4. But it was just a really balanced effort. A lot of great shooting all around. And I think Wemby was really the catalyst for that. I think that his aggressiveness, his mentality, it showed to the rest of the team. And that's what a star player does. That's absolutely what a star player does in an elimination game. And that's something that he will have to continue into Game 7. Now, I worry because coming off of the Game 4 win, Wemby looked gassed. He looked tired in Game 5. He looked out of it. And I worry that might be how he is in Game 7. I hope not, because if he's like that, the Spurs will lose 100%. Wemby has to come out with the same mentality as Game 6 in Game 7. No doubt about it. But I have faith. I trust a lot in his mental, so I think he will play his best basketball in Game 7. It's just a bit of a worry in the back of my mind due to just the immense fatigue in this series. Like, he can't come out because this team, the storyline of this series is this team is just so much worse without him. Obviously, any team is going to be worse without the best player in the world on the court, but we have not been able, up until really last night, to sustain any lead with Victor Wembanyama off the floor. And that's why last night's win was so insane, because the Spurs won the Luke Cornett minutes, which just feels kind of unheard of in this series, because that's usually when the Thunder go on their runs. But shout out to Luke Cornett. Shout out to the bench. They held it down last night. There was less of Keldon Johnson last night, especially in the second half in that third quarter run. And that really shocked me, because there's been a few times where I've thought that Mitch Johnson was moving away from Keldon, maybe not like a soft, full-on benching of Keldon. But last night, that third quarter, we went on a 20-0 run, and I feel like Keldon wasn't in there really at all. At least his impact wasn't felt at all. So kudos to Mitch Johnson for making the right adjustment there. Yeah, that's from a Wimby aspect. That's all I have to say. What else do I want to talk about? Harper, man, Dylan Harper. I criticized him a little bit last game. I feel like the aggressiveness has been lacking ever since he picked up that abductor injury. But man, did he look healthy last night? He got to the basket. He had an incredible finish over Isaiah Hartenstein. He had a couple threes. He had a couple of pull up mid range shots go in, and it looked like another one of those nights where you're like, Dylan Harper is a future star in this league. Obviously, it wasn't as great as his game one performance, but that was an all-time great performance in the playoffs by a rookie. So I can't hold it up to that standard, but it was really nice to see Dylan Harper aggressive. It was really nice to see him attacking the basket. His playmaking was awesome. Really great game from Dylan Harper. I believe he actually led the team in total plus minus, which is crazy to think about for a rookie. Obviously, plus minus isn't the best stat. It doesn't tell the full story. But usually every game, regardless of what happens, regardless of the lineups, it's always Victor Wembanyama. But Dylan Harper came out on top last night for the Spurs. So I think that does show how well he was playing, how well he was raising everybody's ceiling. Outside of Harper, Castle had a really good game. He has had like 28 assists and 9 turnovers since Fox came back, which to me, to a Spurs fan, it was a bit expected, because Castle is not a point guard. That's kind of the end-all be-all. He's not a point guard. He's more of a secondary ball handler than a primary ball handler. And De'Aaron Fox's best attribute to us at this point is his turnover reduction, and he's done that really well. So he's really helped Castle this series. Castle has been balling ever since Game 3 when Fox came back. He's been one of our best players at age 21. He's been guarding Shea like immensely. I'll get into Shea's game later, but I think Castle is really cementing himself as maybe the Shea defender in the league, the premier Shea defender. Like I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who can guard him as well as Castle. De'Aaron Fox. I know I just talked about how impressive his turnover suppression has been, but man, it was such a rough shooting night. This series and this season as a whole has really been apparent to me that De'Aaron Fox's athleticism is just zapped. He doesn't have it like he used to. And for a guard whose game used to predicate on getting to the rim, pushing the ball in transition, it's kind of a scary sight to see when your team is paying him $60 million for a couple of years down the road. Thankfully for the Spurs, I think the expansion draft is coming up soon, so probably won't have to worry about Fox for more than 2 or 3 years. But it wasn't looking great. And the Spurs, if they want to win in Game 7, will need De'Aaron Fox to shoot better. I mean, even if like I hate his shot diet. I hate the long twos. I hate the short twos. I wish he just got to the rim and shot threes, but it appears that it's just not his game getting to the rim, and his 3-point shot isn't going in. It hasn't really been going in this playoff, so it's a bit of an awkward situation, but I will take his playmaking any day of the week, especially paired next to Stephon Castle. Devin Vassell, I don't know if there's any much more I could say about Devin Vassell. He's one of the best role players in basketball at this point. That block on Chet might have been one of the louder crowd pops I've ever heard in a basketball game, just period. That was awesome. I love that he's almost inherited Wemby's beef with Chet. I think that's kind of funny. Like it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but Wemby passed on the hate gene of Chet to everybody else on the team, and I thought that was so awesome that that Vassell did that to Chet. And the refs didn't step in, because that should be playoff basketball. That is what playoff basketball is. you should be allowed to talk what you want. Like, and Vassell's backed it up that series, and Chet hasn't. That's just the bottom line. So I love that from Vassell. He's really picked this team up whenever they struggled this year. Hit 4 threes last night. Obviously, the defense is as great as it has been this season, this series, and this season. Julian Champagny knocked down some threes. Carter Bryant actually got some really great minutes last night. That might have been a flagrant foul on Shea. He might have been headhunting a bit there, but what are you gonna do? It was just a hard foul, I'd say. It was a foul under the basket. Was he targeting Shea? Maybe, but I'm not going to sit here and act like the Thunder haven't done it in the past. It's a two-way street, and I understand if you want to say like it's weird how the Thunder get criticized as a dirty team, but the Spurs are praised as a ethical team. Which, by the way, I hate the ethical hoops narrative. I hate that label. It's just so annoying. But I feel like that's just kind of matching the physicality that the Thunder have brought this series and kind of bring to every series. So I don't really hate it. He did a good job staying out of foul trouble. I want to say he only had like 2 fouls, maybe 3. Usually pretty dumb fouls. Like he just picks up fouls from being a bit over aggressive. Like I'm not saying dumb and like they are bad fouls to pick up, or they still are bad fouls to pick up, but I don't know how I'm trying to say it. They're untimely fouls, if that makes sense. But didn't really allow Shea to get to the line all that much. He only shot 3 free throws last night, which when Shea doesn't get going at the line and he's having an off shooting night, he's not going to produce. And that was fairly evident last night. Luke Cornett gave good minutes off the bench. Like I said, this was the first time I feel like all series where the Spurs won the non-Wemby minutes, which is insane because you're not going to beat this team if they're beating you in the minutes without Victor Wembanyama on the court. That's just a fact of the matter. You're not going to win. You're also not going to win when the Spurs are shooting as well as they did last night. Obviously, finished at like 35% from 3. Thunder shot a far worse 25%, but yeah, the Spurs came out and set the tone from the jump ball, especially with their 3-point jump shot, and that was killer. You're not going to beat this team when they're spacing the floor out like that. That might be it from a Spurs player aspect. I thought Mitch Johnson had some really timely timeout calls. I thought they adjusted really well. They were very mentally focused as opposed to Game 5. I thought that Game 5, the team defense was just lacking a little bit. Like we saw Caruso start to get more active because the Spurs defense was sloppy closing out, late on closeouts. I felt like that's what got Jared McCain going, got Caruso going, got Casey Wallace going, which shout out Casey Wallace. He had a great game last night, regardless of the outcome. He's a real player in this league, man. I've loved him since he was in the draft. It's a shame he's in OKC, but he's a hell of a player. That's basically it from Spurs aspect. Going into talking about the Thunder, there's no beating around the bush. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has to be better. That is the bottom line. He has played a terrible series. I'm tired of acting like he didn't because he has played an awful series. Something really big would have to change in Game 7 for me to at least think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best player in the world because the way this series has gone, it's been very clearly Victor Wembanyama. He's outplayed Shai at almost every punch. Again, we'll see how Game 7 goes. I think Shai personally will have a huge performance in Game 7. I'm expecting something like 35-40 just based off how bad he's been in these last few games. But I don't know. He's struggled with when the Spurs don't send doubles his way. Because what are you going to do when Stephon Castle is kind of matching you blow for blow, is allowed to play with the same physicality that Casey Wallace is, and you have Victor Wembanyama waiting in the paint? I mean, there's just really no way of scoring that isn't a tough bucket. And right now, Shai he's never been the greatest 3-point shooter. He's a good, per se, 3-point shooter, but that's never been his calling card. And when he can't get to the rim because Wemby's there and he can't shoot the 3 at a reliable clip, that means his entire game predicates on contested mid-range jump shots, which that's hard. It's really hard, especially when the rest of your team is not shooting well like they were last night. So we saw Shea have one of his worst performances, I'd say, ever. He finished with 15 points, only got to the line 3 times. Uh, his true shooting was like in the 30s or 40s. That's a truly awful night for a back-to-back MVP. I'd say that's almost unheard of. I watched Kenny Beecham's breakdown last night. He was saying he hasn't seen a series like this from a all-time great type player since, obviously, he said 2011 LeBron, but he also brought up uh, Kobe against the Pistons. He said he compared it to that. I'd say, like, yeah, this is pretty much up there. This has been a poor series from Shea, and he has one more game to go out there and prove himself. Like, it sounds weird because he shouldn't be having to prove himself. He's a all-time great player. He's won back-to-back MVPs. He's the reigning champ, reigning Finals MVP. But he has to be better in Game 7, or else the Thunder will struggle. If the role players can't get hot like they have been for their 3 wins, and Shea doesn't perform to his standard, it's scary for OKC. That would get scary. Now, obviously, returning to home, I think will play a factor. I feel like Shea's played better at home this series, but we'll see. As for the rest of OKC, like I said, Cason Wallace, man, God, he's an incredible player, incredible for what he does for the Thunder. I have to think that Lou Dort will be out the door soon. Uh, I saw somebody pitch Dylan Brooks for Lou Dort trade. I'm sure the Valley would love to have Lou Dort back. You know, hey, shout out ASU legend right there. But I think his time. I think Lou Dort's time with his team is run. I mean, especially like it's over. It's run its course. Uh, Especially with the emergence of Jared McCain, the emergence of Cason Wallace, mainly Queso. We saw Jared McCain last night. He really struggled, and I think that's kind of who he is as a player. I'll talk about Jared McCain after this, but yeah, Lou Dort shot 9 threes last night. Didn't shoot well. I feel like his time is kind of starting to run its course. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say Dort's there to be an enforcer. He's got that enforcer role of a dynasty, but at the same time, he's just not playing that great. And how often can you afford that? Yeah, like I don't know how much more the Thunder can afford to keep paying him, to keep playing him. Obviously, he has his moments. Like it feels like whenever it's time to hit the most gut wrenching three, like dagger three you've ever seen, Lou Dort is the guy to do that. It's so funny because I feel like he's normally a very poor shooter, but when it comes to hitting daggers or just like threes that will make your team miserable, Lou Dort is better than anybody else at that. Uh, like I said, Jared McCain, your mic's on, by the way. Sorry, so you know. Uh, Jared McCain. What was I going to say? That was a very Jared McCain esque game, if I do say, because Jared McCain's game will always go with how he's shooting in a night. There's never going to be a night where Jared McCain doesn't shoot the rock. That's just a part of his game, a part of his character, a part of his confidence. I talked about it last episode. I feel like Jared McCain's off the court personality and his on court personality, I feel like that feeds into how he plays. I feel like his confidence, his like carefree abandonment, he doesn't care what people say about anything. Him being out there, I feel like that goes into who he is on the court because he will shoot any shot in the game. And sometimes that's good because sometimes he's hot, like in Game 5. Like it feels like every home game in the playoffs he's been on, especially with AJ Mitchell and J-Dub out. They've needed him, and he stepped up to bat in a lot of the games. I think he's done all you can ask of him. But last night was a struggle, and that's kind of the nature of Jared McCain. He's going to have his ups and downs. Obviously, I feel like he plays better at home, as do most role players. So I would be on the lookout for a big game from Jared McCain in Game 7. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest, especially after seeing Game 5, Jared McCain. I'd say watch out, but he is an awesome player. Like I said, like I like how his confidence kind of goes into who he is on the court, how he plays on the court. But some nights it's just not going to be there. So, and it wasn't last night, and that's just part of the game. Uh, Dang, I mentioned Jared McCain before I mentioned Chet. That's actually kind of sad. But man, Chet Holmgren. I talked about the block by Devin Vassell last night. That kind of goes into like that's kind of a synopsis of the series for Chet. It really is. Like he has gotten shoved in a locker by the Spurs this series. I don't know how else to put it. And it like I feel like I'm not even trying to hate on Chet because I think Chet is a very good player. I think J-Dub fully healthy, everybody fully healthy. I think Chet is the Thunder's second best player, no doubt. But this series, it just feels like he hasn't been impactful. His impact has not been felt. And I feel like a lot of that has to be a mentality thing. Like he's just not putting up shots. He's not getting to his spots. He's not getting the right shots. It feels like he's kind of. I'm not saying he should go out there and take every shot, be the 1A, like by far. Please keep deferring to Shea. That's your team's best player, your all-time great player. But I just feel like he's letting the game come to him, and that's not working out for the Thunder at all. We saw early in Game 5, he had success in that first quarter, being aggressive. But then the rest of the game, it just dissipated, and that continued into tonight. It's just such a weird series for him. I don't understand it, but he has to be better. If the Thunder are to win Game 7, Chet Holmgren has to be better. I'd still say his offense has been decently felt around the rim as a putback guy, as a guy who grabs offensive rebounds. But outside of that, it's so poor. It really is, and he has to be better, bar none. He has to be better. Now, I could see him turning this around in Game 7. He looked a lot better in Game 5, like I said, the early start. But a little aggressiveness will go a long way for Chet, I think. J-Dub, obviously, first game back from his hamstring strain. He's missed 3 games this series. He really looked rough, man. I don't know when you have basically a game in hand. I don't know why you'd send him out there for Game 6. I know you're trying to punch your ticket to the final, but maybe sit him out until Game 7. Just don't risk it. It would have been my thought, but he got back in there last night and he didn't look himself. They brought him off the bench like he was suggesting for so long, and he didn't look himself. He took a heavily contested 3. He got to the line once, went 1 for 2 at the line, and he had a pretty costly turnover, and that was basically all she wrote for J-Dub on the night. He got subbed out, only played like 10 minutes, and it was hard to watch. Just he did not look himself. He looked in his own head. He looked hurt, and I wonder if they will toss him out there for Game 7. I'm curious. I would think that they would, because if you play him in Game 6, that should mean that you're playing him in Game 7 in a win-or-go-home scenario on your home court. But that may not be in his hands. That may not be in the Thunder's hands. We'll see. Where else? I'll stick on the topic of J Dubs, J Wills, Jalen Williams. Basically a foul magnet last night. He's been one of the better Wemby covers this series. So obviously, when you get him in foul trouble, that's a bit of a rough moment for the Thunder. He shot well this series. Didn't really shoot well last night, and not really much to talk about there. Alex Caruso was pretty silent. I think it's kind of funny. Me and my little brother this series have started calling him the White Devil or the Bald Devil, claiming that he's using devil magic and that's how he's shooting so well. But really, I feel like he's just kind of been left open far too many times by the Spurs by late rotations, bad rotations. But we kind of made it a joke how the nuns were in the house last night and he shot poorly. He shot really bad and was basically a non-factor in the game. So who knows? Maybe the Spurs. I think the Spurs need to find a way to get the nuns out to Game 7, but who knows? We'll see. They're too busy. They're busy doing so much for the community, so I don't blame them if they aren't going out to Game 7. But man, they do seem like a different team whenever they're out there, and so does Caruso. So maybe our White Devil, Bald Devil theory is true. Any other notes for OKC? I feel like I've basically touched on them all. Uh, the ball hand, like the lack of secondary ball handling was also very evident last night, especially with Shea struggling. They really couldn't create anything without Shea on the court. Shea couldn't really create for himself, so it was just rough. Hartenstein got into foul trouble pretty quickly, which I think that the Spurs have to do that in Game 7 if they want to kind of punch the Thunder in the gut, almost sucker punch the Thunder, get Hartenstein into foul trouble as early as possible because he's been killer on the glass all series. Uh, Really kind of a sloppy game for him because I feel like he had decent looks on like lobs or decent looks at the rim, and he just wasn't. They just weren't going down for whatever reason, and weren't going in. But I don't know. I imagine he will be better back in OKC. He was dominant in Game 2, dominant in Game 5. I have no doubt that all these Thunder role players will be at their best in Game 7. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they shoot 50% from three again, at all. Um, Speaking on the topic of Game 7, I'm going to get into that now. Uh, Really, a lot of people say it's a coin flip, but for me, there's just too many factors going into it that favor OKC. And the biggest one is home court. It's just point blank. They have home court. Nobody wins Game 7s in Oklahoma City. That's just, it's unheard of. It's never happened. The Thunder have never lost a Game 7 at home. It's never happened. Not once. And that gives me like a lot of worry as a Spurs fan. That like that place is cursed. That place is very cursed. The Game 7 in Oklahoma City. So I don't know. It's a bit nerve wracking, I'd say. Not to mention they've never lost back. They haven't lost back to back playoff games going back to last season. They haven't lost at home outside of Game 1 going back to last season. So it's just that home court feels like the obstacle that the Spurs have to overcome. And a lot of that comes with their role players playing well, which the Thunder have won this series not by Shea playing well, but they've won this series, or not by Chet, J Dub, Shea, and really any of their big three, AJ Mitchell, big four. They have won this series by the continued dominance of their role players and their continued dominance in the non-Wemby minutes. So as much as I want to pick the Spurs, as much as I want to say Spurs in 7, I think the Thunder are going to pull this out in Game 7. Like I said earlier, I expect a much better Shea game. I expect a better Chet game. I really think their role players are going to shoot lights out. I have no doubt that Alex Caruso will hit at least 5 threes on the night. I have zero doubt in my mind about that. Cason Wallace will probably hit threes. Jay Will might have a repeat performance where he hits like 4 threes. Like, I do think they will probably get a magnet ball type night. It's the home crowd. Role players always play so well at home. We saw it for the Spurs last night. That was a perfect example of that. And yeah, I do think the lack of a secondary ball handler could present troubles for the Thunder. I think that the Spurs have figured out a good way to play the Thunder, a good way to beat the Thunder. But if they go out there like they did Game 5 with just this careless mentality, don't capitalize on opportunities. I mean, the Spurs really, look at the stats. Like, I'm not even trying to pull a Kenny Atkinson here, but they should have done a lot better than they did in Game 5. They played so sloppy. It was bad basketball. They didn't capitalize on opportunities they had, and they let a chance to win a game. They grasped defeat from the jaws of victory. One of my favorite sayings out there, and that would describe the Spurs the other night. But that can't happen in Game 7. They have to be completely different mentally. It's a different mindset. They have to care. They have to know that their season is on the line. Like, that's what Lindy Waters said Wimby's pregame speech was before Game 6 was, you're playing to play another game. You're playing to get one more with this team, this all-time great Spurs team. After last night's win, I don't think people realize this is now the winningest Spurs team to not win a title. This team has won more games, regular season and postseason, than the 1999 Spurs that won the title. The only four teams that have won more games than this Spurs team are the 2003, 2005, 2007, and 2014 Spurs. That says a lot. But this team has been resilient. They've proved everybody wrong to get here, just in general. They have the best player in the world, so I don't think you can count them out at all. But for me, it just feels like too many things are going right for the Thunder. Too many things are falling in place. Too many records have to be broken. Too many streaks have to be snapped for the Thunder to lose this. And I just don't see it happening. I really don't. They don't lose at home, much less in game seven. And that's really what it all comes down to. Expect a big Shea night, expect a big night from the role players, but that's kind of it for my rant. I actually now that I'm seeing that I did get to 30 minutes after I said I would, but hand it back off to you, Koa. What's your prediction for Game 7?
That was Zach Dorosic show. Welcome back from the nosebleeds. Glad to have you back with us. So as you can see, I was munching a lot there. I ran out of snacks. It's kind of sad as shit, but whatever. Throwing back the question real quick. What?
Hey, that's tough, man. I ran it for so long that you ran out of snacks, bro. The Koa Ferrer ran out of snacks, like, bro. I'm gonna put that on my resume, bro. That's going on LinkedIn. But
Snack Sensei.
What's your prediction for Game 7?
My prediction for Game 7. I would say, just like you said, it's incredibly difficult for the Spurs to win Game 7 just off the fact there's so many records, there's so many things that have to be done for them to actually, for one, have a chance in that game. Like, all the records that you're thinking of, they have to break is just so that they can get a chance at the game to win, not to win it straight up. Because when it comes down to, for me, it's a Game 7. We have the two best players in the world, in my opinion, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Victor Wembanyama. Two best players in the world going head-to-head in the Game 7 to determine your fate. If you're going to the NBA Finals or you're going to Cancun. And for me, I really think it's going to come down to who do you trust more in this scenario? Do you trust Shai or do you trust Wemby? And which player can complement the scenario the best? And I think for me in this scenario, it's going to be Shai. It's not about who's the best player right now. It's about who can, in my opinion, in the Game 7, who can get you a bucket in the late stretches, who can go on a run on his own, who can make his teammates better on all facets of the floor. And Wemby can absolutely do that. I'm not saying that's a slight Wemby at all. I think he's obviously the best defensive player in the world. He can do that all defensively. But on offense, we've seen a lot of times when the offense is stagnant when he gets the ball. Meanwhile, on OKC side, when Shai is on a roll and that team's on a roll, you said it, magnet ball, knocking down threes left and right. Every player on the court gets a touch and they get a shot up and it's a bucket every single time. So in my opinion, I think Shai would complement the scenario of a Game 7 a lot more than Wemby can right now. And for me, that's the reason why the Thunder are going to win this game. Along with all the other things, you said it. Home court advantage is one of the biggest things in NBA history, and the Thunder have the best right now. Probably haven't really lost at home. They lost Game 1 this series, Game 1 in the Denver series, and then Game 1 in the finals of last year. And that's 3 home losses out of the last however many years, 3 years in the playoffs. And it just feels like it's not. Where my head's at, it's almost like it feels like it's written in the stars for the Spurs to win, but the Thunder just have a different agenda, and I feel like that agenda fits a lot.
It's like
more
they're Thanos.
Yeah,
they're Thanos. There's like
Thanos.
one scenario where we win, and
yeah,
I just see it as impossible. Like I feel like there's too many things saying we won't win for us to win.
Yeah, I just think like I don't know. I just trust Shai too much in this scenario. I think the Thunder team is more well rounded for a Game 7 scenario, where in any playoff game, obviously in any basketball game, it's a game of runs. But I feel like the Thunder team can go on a much bigger run, especially at home, than the Spurs can put up. Like I could see the Thunder going on like a 20-2 run in the middle of like the third quarter or something, and it just closes the door on any chance that the Spurs have on getting any momentum in that game. and then the experience. The Thunder have been here in the game seven three times in the past 2 years in these playoffs. Game seven against Denver at home, smoked them. Game seven in the finals, you can say what you want about Halliburton being injured, but they still handled business and won an NBA championship on their home court in game seven. And then this year, we have another game seven in OKC. Who's to say that's not going to be the same? Obviously, Wemby's the best player in the world, probably. Um, but it's just a different scenario. I don't see the Thunder losing at home. And again, like you said too, I don't see a world where the role players disappear. And even if they do, I really do trust Shea to get at least 35 in this game. Like you said it with Wemby last night, how you're supposed to go out and play in a winner go home game, shoot the hell out the ball. And I think Shea's going to do the exact same while also contributing to just like helping his teammates be better as well. So I've seen Shea do it too many times. I haven't seen Wemby do it once yet. This might be the first time, right? He's a long career ahead of him. This might be the first time we see him get a game seven win. But I've seen Shea do it too many times. If I had to put money on it, I'd say the Thunder win. I wouldn't say comfortably either. I think, again, like I said before game six, I think it's going to be, no matter which way it goes, if it goes in 6 games or 7 games, it's going to be sloppy either way. And even last night, for both teams, at times it was sloppy. That's why it was a pretty close game in the middle of the third quarter. Then the Spurs went on that massive run, 20-2 or 20-0 run, when the Thunder just couldn't hit a shot. The Thunder stayed sloppy. The Spurs capitalized on that, and they were still even sloppy a little bit in their end too. But tomorrow night, dogfight. I think both teams are going to have at least 17 turnovers, something like that, and it's going to be a dogfight. I think a big thing is, obviously you said Jared McCain too. He's probably going to have a good game. He has a lot of his good games come at home, especially in OKC. Feeds off the energy, and he's the type of guy that doesn't let a performance like last night define who he is for the next game. We saw that after game four, going into game five. Thunder got smoked, but honestly, they all came out, had such a great mentality going into game five, and kind of put BTA on y'all in a way, in some sense of the word. Um, so I think no matter how they play last night, they'll be able to come home, rally again, rally behind their fans, rally behind their home court, and get a win. Honestly, it's as simple as that. That's what I'm at.
Yeah, I like a lot of the points you made. We have a lot of the similar sentiment about Shea probably going off, the role players probably going off. Obviously the home court at OKC is just ridiculous. I can't again. I just can't fathom winning there, snapping those records. So that again, that's a big deciding factor. Uh, I don't know. I'm nervous, right? As anybody would be for a game seven, first game seven in a long time. I'm probably going to the watch party tomorrow. I want to go to the watch party, so either going to be the saddest drive home ever, saddest hour of my life driving home, blasting "Take Care Drake," or one of the happiest rides ever. So it
Yeah, or you're not going home
I don't
until
know.
3 in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be at military. Don't stress. I'll be there absolutely. But I don't know. Just
When was the last time y'all were in a game seven? Was it 2018 against the Blazers or Nuggets?
yeah, 2019.
2019 against the Nuggets.
Yep.
That game seven went down to the wire too, didn't it?
Yeah. No,
Damn.
that series was hell as a whole. But man, it's surreal, just surreal being in this scenario. Like who would have thought at the beginning of the year? Now we've had one of the greatest series of all time. Uh, People are talking about like Game Seven, like oh, I hope it's a close game. Like I hope this series gives us like one more overtime game. I'm like, no. As a fan, I want to win. I don't care how we win. I don't care about if we win by 30 or if it's a two overtime win. I want to win. Like that's period. I don't care about how good the game is. I don't care about how sloppy. I just want to win. But I'm not liking our odds. I don't like our chances. That's a big reason why I'm nervous. Like I don't know. Last night was even nerve wracking just going to the game. So I can only imagine going to the watch party tomorrow. But we'll see how it is.
I have an interesting question for you now. I'm thinking about this because we talked about how Shea, ever since the Lakers started Lakers series, has been dead ass like an amplified role player, like in the sense of how you look at his stats. Obviously, eye test is different. He contributes a lot off
Yeah,
outside of scoring, but he's not been scoring the same. If the Thunder win Game 7, who's Western Conference Finals MVP?
Caruso. I mean, that feels pretty obvious. Yeah,
But is it
Alex
isn't it
Caruso.
all of the Western Conference like playoffs, or is it just
I
Western Conference
thought it.
Finals?
I thought it mainly goes into the conference finals.
Huh.
I
Okay,
I
yeah,
st-
then I say it's
I
Caruso.
I mean, I guess if not, it'd be a bit weird to give it to Chet. But Chet was so dominant the first 2 rounds.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think
I
if
don't know
it's
if you could give it to Chet. But
if
I
you
mean,
take
maybe if
into
he has a
account,
monster game 7, that's a good. There's a good chance that happens too.
yeah,
I'd say Caruso, man. Like that. Nobody on their team puts more fear in me right now than Alex Caruso. That's just that is
shout out
a
that
true fact. He's changed since then. He's changed.
we made him who he is though.
A prick.
No, not that side, not that
I'm
side, not that
kidding. I'm
side.
kidding. I'm kidding. He's a hell of a player.
That's the Chicago in
Again,
him.
I won't even say that. But hey, you only hate players because you only hate good players at the end of the day. And we call him the White Devil, the bald devil, for a reason around here. He's
Bald Mamba.
oh he doesn't miss, and he is the scariest player on their roster right now. I'd give Western Conference Finals MVP to him if the Thunder win, no doubt. But it's the
Fairs.
media's award. They're probably going to give it to Shea, regardless. He could put up 2 points. They'll probably give it to him. That's just how it is. But yeah,
I feel
I
like
just closing thoughts. I think the Thunder win. I think role players go off. I think Shea goes off. Uh, Pretty simple as that.
that goes to the point of having Caruso as our prediction for Western Conference Finals MVP, which I honestly agree with too. I can't think of another guy that really is deserving of it. But it kind of goes to show like how good of a team this OKC team is. Not just
Exactly.
like
Exactly. It's not just
that's
Shea.
how
Yeah.
good this team is. Yeah, this is a unit of a team, and I don't know whoever wins this game. We'll be back here Sunday talking about a finals preview. It could be the Spurs. It could be the Thunder. Zach's either going to be, absolutely ecstatic. If the Spurs win, he's going to have a 45-minute rant. I might not even be here for that. I might have to go do something else,
Gonna
like run
yeah.
errands while he's talking. But if
I
it's the
might pop a
Thunder,
bottle
we'll
of
be here.
champagne, or
Champagne.
hey,
Champagne?
we're gonna have a nice Drake listening sesh live on stream.
Damn. Pop some champagne?
Man, you got everybody laughing with that one, man.
That's far.
I hope he
That's far
shows up.
hard.
I hope he shows up. Game 5 he showed up. Game 6 he showed up. But outside of that, he hasn't really had the greatest of series. But the whole squad needs to show up. So yeah,
Yeah, everybody
either
got to show up.
either pop in champagne or live Drake listen along. Starting with champagne.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. All right. Yeah, that might kill me. I might not have to be in the room for that one. But anyways, we'll be back here on Sunday talking about the finals predictions and preview. Knicks versus either the Spurs or the Thunder. Tune in to Game 7 tomorrow night. We'll be here Sunday talking about all that fun stuff. Zach might be in a good mood, bad mood. I'll be here just listening to his ass talking my ears off. But whatever it is, we'll be here on Sunday afternoon. So stay tuned in for that. For now, I'm Go Frere. That's Zach Dorosic. This is the Zach Dorosic Show. Peace out.